Oil prices also gained even as Saudi Arabia ran into Russian resistance in its push for further production cuts to combat a virus-driven demand decline. The OPEC Plus technical group continues its meeting today as they decide on necessary actions to stabilize oil markets following the virus outbreak. Still on crude oil, the American Petroleum Institute reported late Tuesday that U.S. crude supplies rose by 4.2 million barrels for the week ended January 31st, according to sources. Brent crude remains under $55 a barrel as at this morning. Joining me in the studio to talk about the latest in oil markets as well as agro commodities is an analyst from Financial Derivatives, Aishat Mahmoud. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the Global Business Report. Now, we're going to be discussing a number of things with regards to oil prices, commodities, outlook coming from FTC. Yeah. Let's start from here. So what are the burning issues that we're looking at?
We're looking at the Okada ban. That's a major burning issue right now in Lagos.
Okay. The Okada ban, yes.
Yeah, it's affecting all over. A lot of businesses. Imagine, for instance, a regular booker that supplies food, lunch to offices. So she used keke or napep or Okada to transport her ready-made goods, that's the food, the lunch bag, in the afternoon to the office. And she has to meet up with time. So now think about that when she could do that in speed of 30 minutes. Now she has to wait at the bus stop with a lot of lunch packs.
Some of which might be stolen. Some of them might fall on the floor.
Off, and that's a loss to our business.
Exactly.
So it's really affecting a lot of things.
So affecting the margins there.
Affecting the margins, yeah.
Oh, the good old external reserves.
Good old external reserve dropped down to the 7.8, I can see, and our import cover is reduced down to 9 months. So that's a good thing in a way, but it's not really good. We have other big nations like China having like 2 years, import cover, and that's a big stability to our currency. We don't have to start running around defending the currency.
Something I've always we'll get to Brent, but the external reserves. I like to back out euro bonds and back out almost securities from that number.
Wow.
I think it's sub 25 billion. Yep. Well, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Brent, what are we seeing now?
So 2020 budget as of 2019 when it was prepared, was benchmarked at $57 per barrel,
yes.
And right now
the
coronavirus is really deepening the price, and at the benchmark now the price of crude oil now is now like $55 per barrel,
so it's sub the benchmark.
And that's sub the benchmark. That's going to affect our budget implementation. It's going to affect our economic reserve.
Right.
It's going to eat down into the reserve, and by the time it's full, that's why we have the falling down reserves from 38 to about 37, and it could fall if the price.
Earlier on in my broadcast, I pushed visa and virus. I was thinking too much about visas, but the visa on arrival, we've made some changes, trying to boost trade.
So the reason for the visa on arrival, because everybody was wondering how would you be implementing such a regulation now that coronavirus is how we're supposed to be planning, restricting immigration. It's supposed to be limiting the amount of people that come into the country. But now, they come out to say the reason for this is because we want to promote business and transactions in Nigerian trade.
The timing is on this one. Nigerians definitely don't like this one. What are we seeing here? VAT?
So VAT increase, and we also have the minimum wage at 30,000 naira. So we have a lot of things pushing on and inducing inflation.
Yeah. Something interesting about that minimum wage. What's our next slide? That minimum wage, 30K in dollar terms, is actually, I think, just about the same or lower than the 18,000.
But it's better than 19,800.
Yeah, well, we can. All right, oil markets, what are we seeing?
So the oil market, the price stage has increased. It improved a little bit. It's coming up because coronavirus really took down the price from $60 per barrel to about less than $55. At the point, it was $54 per barrel. So now it's coming up, it's recouping back. Same thing with wheat. Wheat also recuperating. Natural gas is falling, keeps falling. And
okay, so prices, a little mixed bag there with prices.
Mixed market.
All right, let's get our next slide up here from oil. I think we're going to commodities. Yes, food. What are we seeing with commodities?
Commodities, as much as we have coronavirus affecting the global market, because China is the second largest global economy, and anything that happens to the second largest global economy affects the whole economy. So we're having a lot of impact on wheat prices. Wheat prices is falling, and it's good for some. It's not good for some because China is the largest demand for wheat. We have the corn prices falling also. Likewise, cocoa prices. Cocoa prices are falling, but it's at our detriment because we're also exporting cocoa. So when we don't get enough buyers for products, our export values start to drop and start affecting our trade deficit, start affecting our revenues and our reserves. So also we have sugar. Sugar prices is increasing, threatened by global supply. So I bet there's a largest global supply in quantity, and it's going to affect in price. That's why the price is going up.
You know, it's interesting. You're looking at commodities. Zimbabwe, I hear, with the droughts that's affected them and the amount of issues that they've had. I heard they had an import ban on corn, but now they had to release that ban and now import from, I think, South Africa, India, and a number of other countries. That
I can imagine.
It's really tough out there. When I think about cocoa and what's been going on with cocoa, I've been thinking about the price, the cap increase that Ghana and the Ivory Coast placed in cocoa trading so they could make a little bit more money. So
they're even trying to form a COPEC, like we have like in Hobeck, so they're trying to form a cocoa OPEC kind of trade thing, but it's not really working out yet. We can't say. Later in the near future, it could work out to the benefit.
When you're trying to form a cabal, it takes a little while to put that together. So they can be happy right now about cocoa prices.
Likewise, we're in Nigeria.
We're in Nigeria as well. Sugar, you know, it's funny. I saw, what was it now? Dangote Sugar. I think it was their full year 2018 results. Dangote was complaining about sugar smuggling and affecting players in the market. So I can imagine that with where prices are now, that's still an issue that is still continuing as far as sugar is going. So very interesting, very interesting scope with regards to commodities. All right, let's move to our next slide. I think we're going to be looking at I mixed up when we were talking earlier. I thought you were talking about naphtha. It's naphthalene. What's the full?
Naphthalene.
Naphthalene.
The scientific name is naphthalene. The short form is naphtha.
Sounds like the North American Free Trade Agreement, but it's not. This is a chemical.
It's a chemical. It's a commodity of its own.
So it's like a derivative of crude? Yeah,
it's distilled from crude oil. It's a byproduct that you make from crude oil. So naphtha is a mineral spirit. Naphtha is a flammable oil. It's used to make vast array of goods. It's as important as, even in the petrol we use to fuel our car, we have a certain percentage of naphtha in it. Insecticide you use in the house, the aerosol insecticide, has a certain percentage of naphtha in it. So naphtha is not just a standalone or popular commodity of its own. It's used to make other things. It's a major source of raw material for other end user industries, like we have in petrochem, like we have in agrochemicals, and many other more we're going to come along on the slides.
And I see that the price has dipped a little bit from like 517
so it got affected to market. You know, I told you anything happens to the largest economy like China is going to affect the whole global.
They say that when China sneezes, the world economy catches a cold.
Just like when US used to sneeze and we all catch a cold. So
interesting. And it says Nigeria's chemical production has actually been lagging.
So production, it started lagging from 2015, 2016. That was when the recession hit us very badly. The production and many other factors caused the lagging behind. And also, we have a lot of challenges that is causing this production inconsistency.
I bet you.
We used to do very well till 2013. We used to produce about 401 million metric tons of naphtha. Imagine then we're as advanced as we are.
As we used to. But the power conversation has, for all manufacturing companies, power has to be a major factor there, with the fact that they need to have the lights on to be able to keep up production. Right? That's something that we keep talking about. Okay, let's move on to our next. Okay, so this is with regards to some of the end users that naphtha is used for.
So right now, currently, the market for naphtha is set to grow by increasing global demand. However, hopefully, the coronavirus eating up in China, because China is also one of the biggest economy that is going to be used. They're very vast in China. China is a developed nation. So they're going to be using a lot of all these things, and their petrochem industry is also as developed as the other bigger nations. So hopefully, that is not going to affect the global demand that was projected last year for the cumulative growth.
30 seconds. Let's quickly jump to your oil outlook. What are you seeing with regards to outlook for the rest of the year?
So oil outlook, hopefully, currently the OPEC is having the joint technical committee meeting to be able to stabilize the market, because the coronavirus have affected the market with an imbalance in the market right now. So we have decline in demand, and that's very unusual for our decline in demand. When we have decline in demand, then we have oversupply, and then it affects the price, and everything starts eating up. So they're trying to stabilize the market, and they're going to move forward that emergency meeting that is supposed to hold in March. They're going to have it by February 15, 16 next week, and hopefully they'll put it, balance the equilibrium to the market.
So we'll see how things goes. Aishat from Financial Derivatives, thank you so much for joining us today.